Tonight, we remember Queensland Origin hero Carl Webb as Maroons greats pay tribute to the father of four. 14 people killed in a shooting rampage at a university in Prague. The gunman's dark past revealed. Beers and barbecue with the Prime Minister delivering a funding lifeline to flood-ravaged North Queensland. Lives under threat as a fast-moving blaze roars towards homes near Perth. Usman Khawaja says he won't be silenced after being charged over his black armband stand. And train lines closing, the major disruptions hitting the South East network from tomorrow.
This is 9 News Queensland.
Good evening. Queensland is tonight mourning the loss of State of Origin hero Carl Webb, revered as a fearless warrior both for his brave deeds on the field and courageous battle off it. The father of four losing his fight against motor neurone disease at just 42 years old. Fellow NRL greats today paying tribute to a titan of the game whose legacy will live on through the creation of his MND Foundation.
One of the game's most ferocious forwards.
Well, he's gone from villain to hero, from hero to villain.
Who earned a place in State of Origin folklore with a try on debut in the 2001 series.
It's over!
Inside the Broncos base, an illustration of Carl Webb's toughness, still holding the club's bench press record, an enduring legacy he leaves behind.
Well, it's an extremely sad day for the Webb family and rugby league as well.
Webb played 187 games for the Broncos, Cowboys and Eels, but faced his biggest challenge 4 years ago when diagnosed with motor neurone disease.
So inspiring to see the way he has reacted to it, because it's not about him, it's about what he can do for others.
Setting up the Carl Webb Foundation, he raised thousands of dollars to support fellow MND sufferers, all while waging his own private battle.
It's not just me experiencing this, it's also the family and loved ones. So, yeah, extremely proud of just how people have been.
The father of four died at his Dalby home after a fall last night. Tributes led by Broncos coach Kevin Walters. Every time he walked into our place, you felt the respect and admiration from so many. Former teammate Ben Eichen adding, "I found it truly remarkable that a guy who made a living out of being so powerful and explosive could handle with such grace the debilitating effects of MND." There'll forever be a permanent reminder of the impact Carl Webb had on the game of rugby league, with his name and State of Origin number emblazoned on the forecourt here at Suncorp Stadium, the scene of his greatest moments on field. And a fitting location to honour his memory. The Broncos and Cowboys will dedicate their round 4 clash next year to Webb and use the match to raise funds for his charity.
I had the opportunity to go in and visit Carl a couple of times, and the thing was, exactly what we expected from him. He said, I'm not going to give in, I'm just going to fight it all the way. And he said, and if I pass away too soon, I'm going to see even less matches where Queensland beat New South Wales.
Carl Webb was 42. Adam Jackson, 9 News.
Terrified students have been forced to barricade themselves inside classrooms or cling to a ledge to hide from a gunman who opened fire at a university in Prague. 14 people were killed, dozens were injured, a 24-year-old student behind the violence.
Clinging to a ledge 5 floors up, desperate students with nowhere else to hide as a gunman stalks the building. On the street below, confusion and panic. Crowds run as fast as they can. Booms heard across the heart of Prague's historic old town. Coming from a balcony at Charles University, 24-year-old David Kay, a student in the arts faculty. Taking careful aim, shooting at helpless people in the square below. Earlier in the day, he had killed his father at home outside the city before making his way to the university where he planned to take his own life. Officers were alerted and tracked him there, But at 3:15 in the afternoon, the gunshots began. He managed to kill more than a dozen people before he fell from the roof and was found dead. It's unclear whether it was in an exchange of fire. This is the deadliest attack in Czech modern history, and police say it could have been even worse. A large number of weapons were found inside the university, and they've been searching the premises for explosives. We could have had higher tens of victims, says the Interior Minister. Police have ruled out terror, but do believe he was inspired by what they call a similar event abroad, and that he acted alone. As he carried out his rampage, inside the faculty, people sheltered in classrooms. Some built makeshift barricades. Professor Sergei Medvedev had been giving a lecture.
We stayed away from the doors. We barricaded the door. We put all the, desks against the door. We turned off the lights. We didn't stay close to the windows. As we were evacuated, we were walking on the stairs, and there's this historic marble stairs there, and they're all splashed with blood.
It was the final day of class before the start of Christmas break. The Prime Minister urging Czechs to think of those who've lost loved ones, for whom this Christmas will be unimaginably sad. In Prague, Edward Godfrey, 9 News.
And 9 Europe correspondent Edward Godfrey is in Prague. Edward, police suspect the gunman has killed before.
Dom, police believe he may be responsible for 2 murders which occurred a week ago. Those victims are a man and his 2-month-old daughter who was shot dead in a forest in what's being described as a wealthy part of town. Police say those victims were selected at random by their killer. As those investigations continue, a heavy police presence remains here at the Charles University in the heart of the old town. It's still all cordoned off and officers have been going in and out of the building all night long. Dom, a day of mourning has been declared for what is the worst shooting incident the country has ever seen.
Yeah, horrific just before Christmas. Thank you, Edward. The Prime Minister's been given a glimpse of the scale of flood destruction in far north Queensland, meeting locals who have lost everything and the emergency services workers, helping them get back on their feet. Anthony Albanese announced more financial support but admits there's a long road to recovery ahead.
Queensland hospitality for our newest national heroes. A thank you from the PM.
At the worst of times, we always see the best of the Australian character. Just a huge thank you.
Sharing a barbecue brekkie with volunteers and emergency workers before touring the disaster zone alongside the Premier today, meeting those who've lived this flood emergency. Holloway's Beach resident Roscoe Chapman has taken in 10 stranded neighbours and their pets.
5 dogs, 1 cockatoo that swears, blue-tongued lizard.
It was up to me waist in the lounge room. Had the dogs swimming through the house and me mate. And, it was shocking.
That's really the spirit of Christmas, that spirit of giving and looking after each other that we're seeing on the ground.
The damage bill from the nightmare weather event continues to mount. More than 3,300 homes have now been assessed. Almost half require repairs. A 4th round of joint federal and state financial assistance unveiled today.
We have worked together to deliver this $64 million package.
$25 million for primary producers and small businesses. An additional $9 million for eligible councils and $5 million to help the region's tourism industry recover.
We need to make sure that as the floodwaters recede, the visits to this beautiful part of Australia don't recede with them.
The PM has admitted more support will be needed. So many people here are uninsured, and the $1,000 emergency payments available to individuals won't go far to fixing all this damage.
They're not going to sit there and fill out paperwork for $1,000 when they've lost $300,000 worth of home.
Tragically, police are now scaling down the search for a missing 85-year-old man at Dagara. While the last evacuation choppers flew out of Wudjil today, every resident will spend Christmas in Cooktown. Even Tiggy the cat, the final member of this tiny community, to be flown to safety.
Abby Guerin joins us live from Holloway's Beach now. Abby, almost a week on from when homes went under, incredible stories of survival are still emerging. It's
quite remarkable, Dom. I want to take you straight to this vision we've obtained of a huge landslide in the Daintree earlier this week. Rocks tumbling down for hundreds of metres after relentless rain pounded that region, and you can see right at the bottom there is a home sunken into the mud. We now know that that's where a man was trapped for 4 hours, clinging to a tree in the dark until 6 brave emergency services workers ventured in there to rescue him. A team of SES members, police and paramedics pulling him to safety. He was then taken to the tiny Cow Bay Medical Facility, a 1-bed health centre where he stayed overnight, and later flown here to Cairns for ongoing care. But Dom, he has quite the tale of survival, and those emergency services workers, what an amazing effort from them.
You said it, just incredible. Thank you, Abby. To breaking news out of the state's far north, a toddler and his mother have been struck by lightning in Mareebra, west of Cairns. They were taken to Mareebra Hospital just after 3:30 this afternoon. It's understood the young boy is in a serious condition tonight, while his mother is stable. Extraordinary pictures now of a rapidly unfolding bushfire emergency in Western Australia, which is right now threatening lives and destroying homes. Our news helicopter capturing frantic scenes just an hour from Perth as residents there ran for their lives.
Locals near Serpentine, southeast of Perth, could see the fire coming as the driver of a Land Cruiser with a trailer in tow became stuck as he tried to manoeuvre his way out. Others rushed to help, but the four-wheel drive is going nowhere and the flames are moving fast. Also moving quickly, crews, as spot fires were breaking out everywhere. 35-degree temperatures and the winds were back as strong as ever. Choppers were scrambled and reinforcements were called in, joining the battle, the nation's biggest weapons. In the past 2 days, 3 houses have been destroyed in fires in the Perth Hills. Julie and Craig Moody returned to Parkerville today to find their house of 17 years gutted.
Our son had his 17th birthday the day before the fire. So all his presents, everything are gone. All the Christmas presents are gone.
For so many caught up in the emergency, it's destined to be a sad Christmas. There will be more homes lost. And as for that four-wheel drive, well, he made it out. Damien Ryan, 9 News.
An emotional Usman Khawaja has accused the International Cricket Council of double standards amid his human rights stand. The Australian opener says he will challenge a code of conduct charge for wearing a black armband, which he insists was not a political statement.
Softly spoken, but Usman Khawaja makes a big noise in cricket.
The issue is that for a long time, Cricket Australia has been a very white-dominated sport.
But it's his actions, not his words, which has the Australian opener in trouble. Wearing a black armband in the first test against Pakistan in breach of the International Cricket Council's Code of Conduct.
The ICC asked me on day 2 what it was for. I told it was for a personal bereavement. I never ever stated it was for anything else. Shoes were a different matter.
On the eve of the test, Khawaja scrapped plans to take to the field with writing on his shoes stating all lives are equal and freedom is a human right, to raise awareness to the humanitarian crisis in Gaza.
The armband made no sense to me. Guys have put stickers on their bats, names on their shoes, done all sorts of things in the past without ICC approval and never been reprimanded.
The Prime Minister was quick to go into bat for Uzi.
All lives are equal is a sentiment that I think is uncontroversial.
The cricketer copped a reprimand which basically amounts to a slap on the wrist, and if anything, the ICC's intervention has only intensified the focus on Khawaja's crusade. And it certainly won't silence him.
When I'm looking at my Instagram and I'm seeing kids, innocent kids, videos of them dying, that's what's hit me the hardest. I just imagine my young daughter in my arms and the same thing.
So what's next? The cricketer says he's plotting something, but agrees it will have to be ticked off by the ICC. Damien Ryan, 9 News.
Queensland's new Transport Minister has used his first week in the job to take a major step away from his predecessor. Bart Mellish today promising greater transparency for taxpayers, revealing a list of infrastructure blowouts running into the billions.
Just 4 days into the new job, the Transport Minister and Deputy Premier keen to start off on the right foot.
Someone already celebrating.
Opening new Bruce Highway northbound lanes while promising to be more open about how much projects just like it will cost.
I want to be really upfront.
Revealing a list of budget blowouts to major transport projects, including funding committed to the Pacific Motorway and Daisy Hill to Logan Motorway that has quadrupled. Another Bruce Highway upgrade has doubled, and the Gold Coast Faster Rail blown out by the $3.1 billion the former Transport Minister had refused to reveal.
So you're not going to tell Queenslanders the estimated cost?
I'm not going to break what is a formal process between ministers because of a question from a journalist.
Basically what I know will be what you know.
The government's blaming increased construction challenges for the blowouts, vowing to keep Queenslanders more up to speed on project costs.
We will be twice a year providing updates.
I believe in transparency 365 days a year. We shouldn't accept business as usual that billions of dollars blow out because of poor management.
The opposition saying today the government should also do the maths on police numbers.
In the last 5 months, a further 120 frontline equivalent full-time officers are no longer in the police service, in the middle of a youth crime crisis.
The Police Minister, though, says the QPS is on target to reach its officer recruitment promise by the end of 2025. Anna Rawlings, 9 News.
Our airports were bustling today. Tens of thousands of overseas tourists arriving for a summer vacation alongside Aussies flying home for Christmas. Live to Lily Greer at the Brisbane International Terminal. Lily, it was the busiest day in almost 4 years.
That's right, Dom. The numbers are just staggering. Very, very busy here at the Brisbane Airport. We know 20,000 people went through the international terminal today, and more than double that here at the domestic, a whopping 55,000 travellers through the gates here. To put that in perspective for you, you have to remember during COVID we saw large periods of inactivity here. There were 53 days where we had less than 100 travellers through the international airport and 13 days where we had none at all. So to see travel bounce back in such a big way around the festive season, well, it could spell some problems for travellers who are out of practice, unaware of just how busy it gets here. So here is the advice. If you're travelling internationally, get here at least 3 hours before your flight. And if you're travelling domestically, get here 90 minutes early. Pre-book Ubers and taxis where you can. And if you're playing Santa over Christmas, travelling the globe with gifts in tow, this is the advice for you.
We do recommend, if you're travelling with Christmas presents, put them in your checked luggage. You don't want to go through security and have to open them up. If they're wrapped, security may ask you to unwrap them. And let's not ruin the mystique of Santa and Christmas in front of the kids.
Now, they're expecting tomorrow to be just as busy at the International and looking forward to the new year, January 6th and 7th. That is when we are expected to see some more record-breaking travel. So, Dom, for travellers, the advice is pack your patience, be prepared. And while it is the most wonderful time of the year, it is also the busiest for our airports.
And the most stressful. Thank you, Lily. Travel chaos, the warning ahead of major train disruptions these holidays. The explosive final day of Bruce Lurman's defamation trial. The festive fairy tale ending after bags of gifts were stolen. And at the end of sport, the landmark study that's followed preemie babies into adulthood with surprising findings. We're being warned of major train disruptions right across the southeast from tomorrow. Tracks are being forced to close due to cross-river rail works over the holidays. It means every single train line will experience some delays over the next month. From tomorrow, there will be impacts to inner city stations and Beenleigh and Gold Coast lines. The following days, northern lines right up to the Sunshine Coast, as far as west as Ipswich, will be affected. The airport line will close too. To help you plan your trips, you can find the track closure schedule on the government's Cross River Rail Travel Checker website. An alleged toy thief has narrowly avoided spending Christmas in jail. Kaylin Messina faced court today, accused of robbing a Capalaba toy store on Tuesday.
Are you a bit of a Grinch, Mr. Messina?
Police have also charged a 33-year-old Eagleby woman and are still looking for a third person, but there is a happy ending to the story. The recovered toys have now been donated to businesses. They've now been donated to children in need. A Gold Coast councillor accused of murder will fight to keep his job. Ryan Belsden Lumsden was charged over the alleged murder of his stepfather in August. His lawyer by his side today, he fronted the cameras for the first time since his arrest, announcing he will contest the 2024 local government elections.
When the constituents of Division 7 elected me in 2020, I accept that the matters I've been charged with were not currently before the courts.
Mayor Tom Tate today supporting the move, but the Premier says if Belsden Lumsden does win, he'll likely be suspended again. A virus of madness which infected politicians and journalists. That's how Bruce Lerman's legal team has described the sexual assault allegations against the former political staffer. A federal court judge has also heard no matter what he decides in the long-running defamation case, Mr Lerman's name will always be tainted.
With a smile, Bruce Lerman and his barrister on the final day of his defamation trial. How would you say your case has gone, Mr Lerman? In closing submissions, Stephen Wybrow telling the court a virus of madness spread after the Channel 10 interview on The Project in February 2021, where Brittany Higgins made allegations she had been raped in Parliament House.
I had worked my entire life to get here.
The virus seems to have infected the media and the political class, he said, arguing the case has been about lies, damn lies and CCTV, refuting claims by Channel 10's legal team that Bruce Lerman was seen on CCTV plying Brittany Higgins with alcohol at a bar earlier that night. It is just an innocuous social exchange, he says. Bruce Lerman is suing Network 10 and journalist Lisa Wilkinson, denying there was any sexual assault or sexual activity between himself and Brittany Higgins in Parliament House on the night in question. Bruce Lerman's barrister arguing the former staffer's reputation has been permanently damaged. The way this allegation came to be aired has forever and will forever, irrespective of whatever Your Honour says, irrespective of the facts, irrespective of the evidence, he will for all time be in their minds the person who raped Brittany Higgins. It's the case of the Lerman legal team that Ms Higgins made up the allegation of rape because she was worried about losing her job after being found naked by security in Parliament House the next morning, describing it as a potential career-limiting or career-ending moment. After this month-long high-stakes trial, the judge will now likely make a decision sometime next year. His Honour has already made comments that there are credit problems with both the main protagonists, Brittany Higgins and Bruce Lerman. Lizzie Pearl, 9 News.
Getting more bang for your buck tonight, from airline points to freebies, even cashback. The credit cards offering you the greatest deals. We break down the best options. That's ahead. A movie star in hot water, the shock allegations against the Fast and Furious actor Vin Diesel. New details of the Southeast's accused neighbour killer. Fire devastation just days before Christmas. And the mission to recover billions of dollars worth of treasure from the ocean floor. A family has been left devastated just days out from Christmas. Flames tearing through their Strathpine home around 3 o'clock this morning. Luckily, no one was injured thanks to working smoke alarms. Fire crews extinguished the blaze within half an hour, stopping it spreading to neighbouring properties. Fire investigators say the blaze started in a bedroom on a lower level before spreading upstairs. Due to the extent of the damage, the cause is yet to be determined. Police have been granted an urgent court order to drug test a woman charged with the murder of her neighbour. Dorothy James Downey is accused of fatally stabbing a woman known to her at an apartment complex in Hamilton yesterday. Her lawyer told Brisbane Magistrates Court her client has a history of delusions and psychosis. The 55-year-old remains on remand. Millions of Australians have had their most sensitive health data compromised by a cyber attack on the largest not-for-profit health and aged care provider. St Vincent's Health says it doesn't know what data has been stolen or how long cyber criminals were inside its computer systems.
St Vincent's Health has dedicated itself to Australians' care for more than 160 years. But in recent days, the health giants needed its own urgent attention.
St Vincent's found evidence that cyber criminals had removed some data from our network.
Data plundered from a computer network connecting 3 public hospitals, 10 private hospitals and 23 aged care centres across New South Wales, Victoria and Queensland. Medical and financial information of more than 3 million Australians potentially compromised.
All data is sensitive if you're the owner of that data.
The cyber attack only revealed 3 days after it was first noticed. St Vincent's Health discovered it had been hacked on Tuesday, notifying the Australian Cyber Security Centre and bringing in expert help. The hack was contained by Wednesday morning, St Vincent's alerting Cybersecurity Minister Claire O'Neill and Health Minister Mark Butler. Both ministers' offices were briefed throughout Thursday, confirmation coming about 9 p.m. that data had been stolen.
What that data is part of the investigation.
I should stress here that there is a difference between data being stolen, which is never good, and systems being impacted.
St Vincent's insisting its hospitals and aged care homes are operating as normal. 9 News can reveal St Vincent's lost 1.5 gigabytes of data, or about 680,000 pages of information. A ransom demand is yet to be received. Andrew Probyn, 9 News.
Fast and Furious star Vin Diesel has been accused of sexual assault by his former assistant. Asta Johnson alleges the star forcibly hugged, molested and kissed her at a hotel suite in Atlanta before firing her within hours. The allegations are from 2010 during the filming of Fast 5. A lawyer for Vin Diesel says the actor categorically denies the claim. It's been left largely undisturbed for more than 300 years. Now, the Colombian government has announced it will attempt to raise objects from a vessel nicknamed the Holy Grail of Shipwrecks. San Jose sank in 1708 and could hold up to 11 million gold and silver coins from Spanish-controlled colonies. A show of Christmas spirit, the community coming together for Queenslanders in need. The credit card's giving you the best perks. $4 billion up for grabs in the world's richest lottery. And just in time for Christmas, the moment Santa takes down the Grinch. Checking finance now, and the stock market closed slightly higher. The All Ords up 2 points. Our dollar is buying 67 US cents. Checking petrol prices, and the average for unleaded in Brisbane is $1.76. Diesel is $1.97. The average on the Gold Coast is $1.78 for unleaded. Making a bold statement outside State Parliament today, a pair of red shoes for each of the 74 women and children killed by domestic violence in Australia this year. Advocates urging the government to improve monitoring of perpetrators.
I would like politicians to help use their power to save lives, change laws, implement new laws about men that are high-risk offenders wearing ankle bracelets.
Queensland Police say call-outs for domestic and family violence spike over the holiday season. Throughout Christmas and New Year last year, officers responded to more than 5,700 incidents. And if you or someone you know needs help, you can call 1-800-RESPECT on 1-800-737-732. One item is topping Christmas lists all over Spain, a winning ticket in El Gordo, the world's richest lottery. It's a festive tradition to buy tickets for friends and loved ones, giving them the chance to win a share in more than $4 billion in prize money every year. It should be the most joyous time of the year, but for those struggling to afford the basics, it can be one of the hardest. Hundreds of volunteers today coming together to support families in need this Christmas.
Lending a helping hand in the spirit of Christmas.
It's a vibe. It's a merry, merry vibe.
For us, Christmas is more about giving to others than receiving.
The annual hamper packing day in Brisbane, run by local not-for-profit Micah Projects, attracting hundreds of eager volunteers.
It's a beautiful atmosphere. It feels very festive.
We've been coming for a few years now, so it's a great organisation.
This year, demand is greater than ever. Cost of living and the worsening housing crisis pushing families to the brink.
We know that people really struggled after Christmas because they've
they've been getting all their Christmas sort of presents and really wanting to try and make Christmas an important time.
Over the past few months, Mike are raising more than $40,000 with a record 1,000 hampers to be delivered to vulnerable Queenslanders just in time for Christmas Day.
Feels wonderful because we're a lot better off than a lot of people out there in the community, and at this time of year a lot of people are suffering quite badly.
These tables are packed with more than 17,000 fresh food and pantry staples, plus a few treats, all purchased through donations from the community.
Well, the volunteers are amazing, and it wouldn't happen without the volunteers.
It's an amazing array of beautiful food for people to enjoy this Christmas, and yeah, it's really great to be here and being part of it.
Olivana, Lathouris, 9 News.
He's known for trying to steal Christmas, but today the Grinch found himself under arrest. 2 police officers, a dog and Santa taking down the cranky green character in the US state of Kansas. The mean Mr. Grinch was brought into custody where he had his mug shot taken. The takedown just in time for the big day. Thank goodness. The Aussie cricketer putting family first ahead of the millions he could have pocketed in the IPL. That's next. The Brisbane International undergoes a facelift to welcome Rafael Nadal and Naomi Osaka. At the end of sport, what life is like for Premier babies once they're adults. The landmark new study.
Queenslanders are being warned to brace for severe thunderstorms tonight. I'll have those details, plus your full Christmas forecast, what you can expect on the big day.
Josh Hazlewood has declared he's putting family before cricket for the first time in his career. The Aussie paceman sacrificed millions of dollars in the IPL to keep the calendar clear for the birth of his first child. But right now, his immediate focus is the Boxing Day test.
Our Aussie cricket stars heading to Melbourne for the premier day of the Australian summer.
Yeah, it's just a special time of year, really. You know, it's Christmas when you arrive in Melbourne. The team's always in sort of the same hotel. Same sort of things go on, the same routine. So, yeah, it's always exciting.
Great time of year. All the families get together. Yeah, the team's full of kids now. Well, it's about... Everyone has 1 or 2 kids running around, so it should be a good few days.
Hazlewood is awaiting the birth of his first child. That's why he made himself unavailable for most of next year's IPL, denying himself a possible $1 million pay packet.
Yeah, it's exciting. Probably the first time I put family in front of cricket, so I was always due. I see the other guys do it from time to time with their little ones, so yeah, I guess it's my turn.
In the meantime, he's got a series against Pakistan to win, feeling extra fresh after wrapping up the first test in just 4 days.
Any time we get time off, we can rest up and get back in the gym, do some work on our bodies, so yeah, it's always helpful.
Hazlewood tipping another rockstar display from David Warner in the final Boxing Day test of his decorated career.
Yeah, never write off Davey. Well, he actually should, then he gets runs. Yeah, we might start that routine again this week, but no, he's fantastic and I assume you'll enjoy it again.
Emma Lawrence, 9 News.
After being bowled out for 219, Australia's women couldn't contain India on day 2 of the first test in Mumbai. The Aussies didn't help their own cause. 2 misfields from Talia McGrath gifting India back-to-back boundaries. A short time ago, the hosts passed 250 for the loss of just 3 wickets. The Brisbane Heat have bolstered their position on top of the Big Bash ladder thanks to newly minted millionaire speedster Spencer Johnson. Jake Fraser-McGurk's sensational half-century, including 7 sixes, wasn't enough to help the Renegades cement their first win of the season. The Queenslanders winning by 6 wickets with 11 balls to spare. The first batch of overseas players have arrived to ready themselves for the Brisbane International. And tonight, 9 News takes a behind-the-scenes look at the changes put in place to greet the likes of Rafael Nadal and Naomi Osaka.
Before the world's best begin vying for the Brisbane International trophies, the finishing touches are being put on a new look precinct at Tennyson.
And then over the back here of Show Court 2, you'll see what we call the clubhouse, and that's you've got the big screen. We've got mini tennis out there, a lot of mini courts. We've got a lot of activities for the kids, a lot of fun for the family, and you can watch all the matches on the big screen.
For the first time, there's electronic line calling on all courts, replacing the need for linespeople. The best seat in the house is the Champions Lounge.
And you can buy tickets into this facility. Obviously, you've got great seats just behind the glass, overlooking centre court, and you've got all your hospitality needs.
World number 16, Ludmila Samsonov, the first international to arrive, where she'll find all the players' needs catered for.
Andy Murray, for example, loves his football, so we often have to try and find a football or a soccer ball very quickly so that he can take it out outside and have a bit of a kick around with his entourage before he goes out to play. And a lot of the athletes also love their computer games, so we're setting up Xboxes and PlayStations.
In the players' dining area, there's superstitious orders to stick to.
Every night we make the same booking at the same restaurant, especially the Italian athletes. They love their Italian food and stick to that.
With these cords to be graced by 9 Grand Slam champions throughout the event, it's leading to a surge in ticket sales for this edition of the Brisbane International.
We know that we'll have at least 20 Australians in both qualifying and the main draw, which is the most I've ever seen. So it's the strongest Australian contingent in the Brisbane International that I can remember, which is fantastic for all the fans to come out and support the Aussies.
Adam Jackson, 9 News.
Rugby Australia's new high-performance boss is open to Michael Cheika making a stunning return as Wallabies coach. Cheika led Argentina to the World Cup semi-finals but has since left the Pumas and is now a free agent.
I'm open to anyone. As an Australian, I'd love to see Australians leading, but in this situation, I think where we're at, it's the best person for the role.
Horn also pleading with rugby players to ignore offers from Rugby League, promising there is better times ahead for the 15-man code. 12 goals in 8 A-League games for Melbourne Victory this season has earned 36-year-old Uruguay-born Bruno Fornaroli a place in the Socceroos squad for next month's Asian Cup.
The most important thing with the Socceroos is form, and Bruno's done a fantastic job. He's had a fantastic start to the season.
Graham Arnold has gambled on the fitness of captain and goalkeeper Matt Ryan, who was chosen despite fracturing his cheekbone last week. Lightning delayed the Roars match last night, and Brisbane players probably would have preferred it was cancelled altogether after the Central Coast Mariners' 3-0 win. The visitors were in total control at a wet Suncorp Stadium, delivering the hosts their second straight loss. More news now, and a world-leading Australian study has found babies born extremely prematurely do surprisingly well in adulthood, despite their early challenges. Researchers followed the babies for 25 years to see how they developed.
When Dwayne Dinham was born in 1992, he had to fight to survive.
I was born at 26 weeks, so 3 months premature. Weighing in at 886 grams.
He has not only survived but thrived, and at age 31 is a successful international ski and snowboard instructor.
Spent many years in Austria, in Europe. Yeah, it's my passion.
New research led by Dr. Lauren Pigden has found despite their tough start to life, extremely premature babies grow up just fine.
Yeah, we were surprised at how well these young adults were doing.
The Royal Women's Hospital and Murdoch Children's Research Institute study recruited 300 Victorian babies, including those born extremely prematurely, around or before 28 weeks. 25 years later, researchers examined their key life indicators, including education, financial status and health.
They were just as likely to have completed Year 12, be in paid work, be in a romantic relationship and be satisfied with different aspects of their life.
Yeah, as far as I know, I've turned out pretty good.
Emily Rice, 9 News.
In just 3 minutes, making sure you're getting the best deal on your credit card, we break down the latest offers. From free flights to cashback, that special report is just moments away. But first, Olivana Lathouris is back with a check on the weather. Ollie, it's been a wet few days across our state.
It sure has, Dom, and there's more wet weather on the way. The Bureau is warning of severe thunderstorms in several locations in the coming hours. I'll have those details, plus your full Christmas forecast. Everything you need to know to plan the big day. Stay with us.
Everybody loves a freebie, but with the cost of living tightening purse strings, they're in even hotter demand, with more of us signing up for credit cards chasing perks. Sophie Upcroft explains.
As the price of almost everything creeps up, more of us are putting it on the plastic. An extra 200,000 people opened a personal credit card account in the last 12 months. A Rate City survey found postponing payments is not the only reason for the surge. Almost 60% say they're chasing rewards points to cash in on free flights, gifts or vouchers. The cards offering the maximum flight rewards are the Qantas Money Premier Titanium, promising 150,000 points if you spend $5,000 in the first 3 months, and the Frequent Flyer Black with ANZ, 130,000 point sign-up bonus with the same spending conditions. When it comes to cashback and general rewards, City Prestige offers the biggest sign-up bonus, 275,000 points, which can be converted to gift vouchers. But the catch with each of these cards is the high interest rate, all three charging around or above 20%. You should also check the minimum credit limit and the annual fee, which can be up to $1,200. Rate City says there's no such thing as a free lunch. It's crucial to crunch the numbers to make sure the rewards outweigh the fees.
Time now for your full weather forecast with Olivana Lathouris. Ollie, we've got some dangerous storms around tonight.
Dom, the Bureau of Meteorology has warned of some severe thunderstorms approaching the southeast. There are 3 areas that they are supposed to impact the heaviest. Those are Toowoomba, Oakey and Pittsworth. Residents in those areas have been warned of severe thunderstorms, heavy falls, which could lead to some flash flooding. So if you are in those places, do keep an eye on those warnings over the coming hours. But here in the Brisbane CBD, the festivities are well and truly underway. The lights are on, the people are mingling, the tunes are blasting, and it is tempting to break out into song, but I am going to spare you and our viewers that joy, stick to my day job and tell you a little bit more about our Christmas forecast. But first, let's take a look at what the weather was doing today. It was a sticky start to the day in Brisbane, although the humidity did ease off, a top of 26. Similar conditions on the Goldie. Logan copped around 15 millimetres of rain, 27 degrees. The same for Toowoomba, and on the sunny coast, 25. If we take a look at the map, there's still a fair bit of wet weather activity across the tropics. Showers and thunderstorms for the top end, and Queensland, some of those intense. In our capital city, Sydney, partly cloudy, 26. Canberra, 25. Sunny in Melbourne, although temperatures could drop as low as 12, so make sure you don't pop your jumpers away too soon. Adelaide, 27. Perth, 32. And Darwin, tops of 35. Returning to Queensland now, that tropical low in the Gulf is still having flow-on effects for the northern parts of the state. Cairns, the sun should still be shining for most of the day, although there is a chance of a thunderstorm. Possible shower in Townsville, chance of a thunderstorm in Mackay also, 31. Hot and sunny inland with tops of 43 for Mount Isa. Rocky, a bit of a gloomy day for you tomorrow, tops of 31. Gladstone, 30. Similar conditions in Gympie with a shower or two, tops of 29 degrees. And in Roma, a possible morning storm and 31. In the southeast tomorrow, more rain and temperatures in the mid-20s. For all of those lucky people up there in Noosa, you're looking at a very high chance of showers, 27. Ipswich, 30. And down on the Gold Coast, some showers, although only a few millimetres at tops, 27. On the bay, winds southerly 15 to 20 knots, turning southeasterly in the afternoon, seas below 1 metre. And here in Brisbane for your Saturday, temperatures heating up to about 29 degrees with a high chance of showers and a possible storm in the late morning. Now, looking ahead to Christmas, maximum temperatures are starting to creep up into the 30s, but we are still expected to have a bit of rain. Those showers won't really start to ease until after Boxing Day. Thursday, getting up to 36. Ipswich, a top of 33 and showers on Christmas Day. Temperatures climbing to 38 mid-next week. And for the Gold Coast, showers most likely in the afternoon and evening on Christmas. 30, returning to mostly dry conditions from Wednesday. Now, Bronte Gilday was on the coast this afternoon. She'll be telling you what we can expect for our beaches.
After what's been a pretty dribbly couple of days out in the surf, we've finally seen some half-decent swell pushing in thanks to a southerly change. Busy at D-Bar, but you can see why, some absolute pearlers coming through. The strong southerlies up early and a little smaller on the points, but still plenty of fun to be had. For the swimmers, be careful on the open beaches, unstable with that lifting swell. Definitely swim between the flags and enjoy the warm water, about 24 degrees. We've got a thumbs up on the surf forecast for tomorrow and some fun waves over the next few days. The northerlies returning Sunday afternoon, but still plenty of fun to be had early. For the boaties, our very own Luke Bradnam is up north getting it done. Check out this coral trout. Great catch, Luke. This one, not so much. The Christmas fish Grinch, also known as a shark, stealing his catch there. In Luke's own words, great stuff.
So, Dom, there is still expected to be a fair bit of rain about as we approach Christmas, although if tonight's anything to go by, we have plenty more Christmas spirit. Back to you, Dom.
Thank you, Ollie. You can go in and enjoy some singing now when your microphone is turned off. Well, that is 9 News for this evening. Dominique Clancy is next with the current affair. I'm Dominique Loudon. Thank you for your company this week. From all of us, good night.